and the equally great Kenny the Jet Smith. The fans are filling the seats out in Boston, the site of our broadcast, and where the Celtics will be going up against the Milwaukee Bucks. Well, for the Bucks, their first time playing these guys this season. A year ago, going 1-2. They'd like to improve on that this go-around. This team has so many weapons late in games, but perhaps the biggest of them all is Kyrie Irving. Shaq, do you view Kyrie as the most clutch player in the NBA right now?
I wouldn't say the most clutch, Ernie, but his biggest shot was...
Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave?
And a stirring rendition of the Star-Spangled Banner by the terrific Linda Lynn, getting us ready for NBA basketball here on 2K Sports. Hi, this is Kevin Harlan with Clark Kellogg, Greg Anthony, and our sideline reporter is the Hall of Famer David Aldridge. And wouldn't you know it, our good friend KG, Kevin Garnett, has come by to say hello and join us. Kevin, great to see you.
K-Hall, what's up, man? How you doing, man?
I'm glad you're here.
It's good to see you, man.
You ready to go?
Oh, I'm always ready. What's up?
All right. And with tip-off coming up, we've got just enough time to hear from our good friend David Aldridge on the sideline. D.A., take it away.
Well, guys, Giannis Antetokounmpo came to the NBA as an unheralded 19-year-old from Greece. But he's been a...
Boy, that's fascinating stuff, D.A. Thank you so much. What better way to learn from your mistakes? And KG, talk about how the greats can just impose their will.
It's almost like another level.
Yeah.
When you see LeBron, what he did to Detroit in that fourth quarter, that's a blackout. You don't know what you're doing. When you see Cole go for 81, when you see Chauncey come down on a one, these players are blacking out. These are elite players in elite moments, taking the moment. Paul Pierce is one of the best that I've ever seen grab a moment and savor it and just put it in slow-mo. There's nothing speeding them up.
Special players.
Special players, but I get a front row seat of seeing that. Ray Allen, the same thing. He had a great composure about himself to slow himself down and hit pressure shots. Tim Duncan, same thing.
All fueled up and ready to go. Let's check out who's on the floor, courtesy of Gatorade. And Milwaukee, looking at who they've got, the young Bucks, Antetokounmpo and Parker at 3 and 4. Bledsoe is out there with Chris Middleton, and it's Henson in at the 5, roaming the paint. Kevin, growing up watching the game of basketball, who were some of your earliest influences?
My early influences in the game of basketball was Magic Johnson, obviously Michael Jordan, and then Chris Webber. Chris Webber, Malik Sealy was kind of like the younger generation of my inspiration. Yeah. St. John's was one of the destinations. Michigan was one of my college destinations. So those guys were my natural inspirations early on when I was young.
Yeah. Antetokounmpo with the ball. Now guarded by Tatum. And Antetokounmpo gets it to go. Kevin, one of the biggest moments of your career, the 2008 championship with the Boston Celtics. Talk about the camaraderie among that group of players.
You know, Kev, I can tell right away that we had something special getting together right in September, right before the year started. We started working out together. We started sharing concepts and how we saw the game. Right away, I could tell that the appetite was there. 1 through 15 guys. It's very rare that you're able to get that many guys in that early. As soon as Danny, signed guys, we were in, we were lifting, we was just, around each other, understanding each other, playing a lot. We was playing a lot. Then, fortunately, we was able to go off to Rome that year. Rome was a good distraction for us because we had to lean on one another.
Bond a little bit.
Seriously, because...
Yeah.
Hey! Ooh, wow! And when the Greek Freak takes flight, he's looking to tear that rim apart. So ferocious in his throwdown.
And that replay is sponsored by Under Armour. Another Unleash Chaos moment, giving us an excellent perspective on the play. And Kevin, there was such a whirlwind around your trade to the Celtics from the Timberwolves. What were your thoughts and emotions at that time?
You know what? Being in Minnesota at the time, it was very difficult for me. I didn't necessarily want to leave. I had a goal to bring the city a championship, and I felt like I could do that. Nothing worse than when you have to deal with the reality of change. I'm not the one for change, even though I do know in order to process or progress better, you have to embrace some change. So with the help of my friends from Chauncey Billups, Teron Lue, I sat and I thought through it with those guys who had been through the trade process and talking to me. getting me to understand my options. And once I understood all my options, then I just, it was about what was best for me and my family.
Wow, yeah, there's a lot to consider. Irving from long range. After 2 misses to start the game, he's on the board with that shot made. Kevin, when you're talking about influences, you mentioned Chris Webber's name a lot.
Yeah, C-Web was kind of, he and Stacey Augmon was at a time where I was trying to find myself as a player.
Search for a roadmap, maybe. Who do I most resemble?
Not only that, but just some direction. At the time I was a big who had handles, and if you know anything about Southern coaches, they don't want their big handling the ball. So you get the ball up to a guard or whatever. It wasn't until I got to Chicago to where the scouts or people were able to see, like, wow, this big can actually handle the ball. He has handle a little bit. And then my high school coach would actually make me bring the ball up to show off or showcase.
No kidding.
I hated it. I was like, oh my God,
but look at what happened,
bring the ball up. And he knew that turning, I could handle it. And I was like, oh my God, I hated this. And he knew I would go and dunk him on. I was like, man, I don't want to shoot. He was like, no, bring the ball up. Anyways.
Kevin, when you played, we all know how intense you were, how much you cared. That, to me, was the thing that you cared so much about the product, about your team, about the game. But some people have said that maybe there was a streak of you that was mean is maybe not the right word, but you were overly aggressive. But I don't know how you could have played any differently than that.
I call it dialed in.
What?
I like to think that if you're trying to accomplish something, then, I only know one way to
go
accomplish
at it with
something.
gusto, right?
You go at it with everything you have.
Yes.
You go to dominate it and take it over. You don't go at something lightly.
Can't walk through the park with this game,
not at all. Not at all. And this game is full of talented elites. Night in, night out, you're playing someone that can typically go for 50 easy.
So true. And Milwaukee calls their first time out of the game. Teams changing it up here. Well, the fans out there watching this, Kev, can you talk about why it's so incredibly difficult to win an NBA title, to become a champion? Why is that such a tough process?
Well, just imagine having a goal and you're not pursuing the goal by yourself. Say you and somebody else.
Relying on somebody else?
Relying on somebody else, okay? So let's just say you and someone are doing something, to walking up a hill. Y'all getting ready to go walk up a hill. Well, the speed in which you want to walk at might be different from the other person. And what you realize about when you're trying to reach any goal is that you have to be connected. You have to be understanding of, we're going to walk up here together like at this speed, like this, or we're going fast, we're going slow. It has to be a great level of communication and understanding. At the same time, you have to have the same work ethic, because you have to understand you're together. And you don't get to go at this level and leave someone behind. You have to actually, you got to pull them, you got to keep up, whatever it is. All this goes into trying to win.
It sure does. That's right. Brogdon kicks to Dellavedova. They get it back. And that one's good, Brogdon.
And already they've staked out a noticeable advantage in terms of aggression and controlling the backboard.
And the trend they'd love to continue right through the next 3 quarters as well, Greg.
Bucks trail by 5. Over in the corner, Dellavedova. Floats one up, and it's good on the layup.
And Dellavedova can be quite unpredictable at times, especially when shooting that floater. That unpredictability plays to his advantage.
Shots good by Baines.
The plan of attack is obvious. Get the ball inside and go strong.
Whistle. That goes on Terry Rozier. That is his first foul of the game. There's 42 seconds left to play here in the first. Snell from outside.
And trailing here in the first, you'd like to see them be a little more aggressive on the offensive glass.
Yeah, I agree. Not a lot of activity chasing down their misses. Some teams focus on getting back, and I understand that, but you should send at least one guy after those.
Bucks trail by 7. And here is Brogdon. There's 18 seconds left to play in the first quarter. Milwaukee shooting their initial free throws of the game right here.
And last season, 77% from the line. They could usually get the job done there.
That free throw good from Dellavedova.
And Dellavedova is a hard-nosed guy, tough guy, somebody who hustles for loose balls all the time. His teammates absolutely love his energy.
And that's good as he hits both of his shots.
Textbook shooting from the stripe. Great form, soft release. Mark it up.
There's the dish to Tatum. Shoots the 3. That one's not going to go. And we reached the end of the first quarter. Celtics lead by 5. The second quarter coming up right after this break, so don't go anywhere. Now the second quarter getting ready to start up. And an important part of every team's game, a look at the hustle stats for Boston.
Boy, they've really amped up the pressure at the defensive end, guys, and have piled up the steals in the early going.
And also defensively, they've been able to cause some turnovers tonight, and that also builds confidence and gives you momentum.
Boston leading by 5. Kevin, we've all seen the evolution of the perimeter-style offense. Do you think it'll ever go so far that we'll see the game come back to an inside-oriented offensive scheme?
I think right now that with pace being the way it is now, Kev, I don't see it necessarily going through or going back to playing through the post. Although you have to have an alternative. I think that you just can't be all three-pointers and layups. I think you have to have a constant flow of inside-outside. I think it helps to have a post player. I think having a post player or a true post player that can score and dominate the middle opens up threes and opens up ball movement.
You played during the transition, too, didn't you? From a grinded-out type of game inside to spacing what we have now.
I did, and I'd like to say that, Doc Rivers started the small ball, and, we were very, very keen on the small ball. So I think in today's game, you got to be able to shoot the 3 now and be able to handle the ball and put the ball on the floor and make decisions. So it shows that the game is transforming.
Irving and Brown pair at the 1 and the 2. Abusele out there with Horford, and it's Tatum in at the small forward position. That's the 5 to begin the second quarter for the Celtics.
And guys got careless with the ball there, and the turnover leads to the big stuff.
Once he came upright with the steal, he went straight on the attack.
That's exactly the way to do it, too, Kevin. Go hard to the bucket and don't let them set up the defense.
And it's out of bounds. The Bucks able to retain possession here. And here we can check out the breakdown of rebounds tonight between the front court and the back court for the Bucks.
And their guards have done more than their fair share. Honestly, it's all academic. If they can't close this gap soon, who's rebounding what won't matter.
And Antetokounmpo's checked in for Milwaukee. Bledsoe comes in for Matthew Dellavedova. A different look for Milwaukee. Henson's checked in for Tyler Zeller. Parker comes in for Mirza Teletovic. And Middleton subbed in for Malcolm Brogdon. Knocked away. Down to 5 on the shot clock. For the finish.
Oh! Yes, sir! Yes, sir! My goodness. Brown with that amazing athleticism, putting on a show out there with jams like that.
Bucks trail by 14. Kevin, you accomplished everything individually as a teammate. Anything that you wish you would have done, any player that you wish you would have played with, any regret in that form? that lingers with you in retirement?
No, nothing lingers. Obviously, you sit back and think about, I would love to play with Kobe for a year, or got to team at least play in the U.S.
You had a chance. Wasn't there like a rumor at one time?
It was.
Going to the Lakers?
My connection with Paul was just the opportunity when I waited. It's what it was, but
and you wouldn't have traded the Paul Pierce thing for anything.
No, I wouldn't have, because Paul and I are true brothers. The connection, and then the team, Ray, my connection with Doe and then Doc and all that. So I wouldn't have given that up for anything. But if I could have played with one person, probably would have been Cole. Summertime, I say USA because that's when you get to play with each other and all that, and you get to kind of beat up on everybody else and be USA or whatever. So that would have been super fun, but it's all good. Shout to Mama, you know what it is. But I have no regrets, man. I left everything on the floor. I enjoy watching the game more than ever now, dog. I'm not even going to front. I enjoy having my popcorn, my little ritual, my boys, and we sit back and watch the game. I'm loving the game.
Yeah. Morris is checked in for Boston. Smart comes in for Tatum. Celtics leading by 14. Kevin, coming out of high school, you were relatively mature for your age, as 17 turning 18, but do you ever regret not trying college and just seeing what that experience would have been like? I mean, it's such a long time ago, but you've had some chance probably to get some perspective on both sides of that story.
You know what, Kev, I look at it like the unknown is the unknown. Obviously, I've had friends that went to college. Some of my best friends went to college, and I think I've kind of lived it through them a little bit. Listen, when you have responsibility early in life,
which you did,
which I did,
yes,
and so from a mature level, things that interest me are not that interesting as you get older, especially when you have to deal with a vigorous schedule of an NBA schedule. I wasn't able to, be the 17, 18-year-old to chill, have, lean on the parents a little bit, be able to be at home, coming home through the weekends. No, I had a real life that I was responsible for, and I was growing something. I was building something. I was trying to not just be a young player in our league, but a young businessman, wanting to establish something for myself, my friends, my family. You can't do those things thinking like a normal 17, 18-year-old. You're taking pieces from grown men around you all the time. You're around people who need something all the time. At some point, you have to put all this together. You have to make it work for you, and you have to put your spin on it for how it works for you and your brand. And you have to be innovative with that. You have to be creative with that. You have to have a vision.
Wow, yeah, there's a lot to consider.
And you see Morris aware of his surroundings, getting a good jump down court.
Al Horford, a player who doesn't dominate any one category as a big man, but KG he has very few weaknesses. He's fundamentally sound.
He's very effective, man. Al Horford knows what he is. He's very solid with what he does. Sets great picks. He's able to create space between him and his defender. If you watch him, he's gotten better with his shot. He's gotten better with his three-point shot. He's able to shoot it at rapid style now. Being in Atlanta, being in a kind of a system where he was able to play kind of four guys, one in, and he would be more perimeter. He's really developed a perimeter shot now. It's really helped him. Now he's able to put the ball on the floor with a shot fake and go to the basket, make, other passes to guys. Really helped that whole system up there. Boston is a threat, but without Al Horford's play, his inside play, and his, able to go out and hit threes, they're not the same team without him.
Quality person, too.
Absolutely, yes. Man. No better locker room leader. He's one of these guys that, when you talk about men, you want to know that men can stand up and speak like men. He's one of those guys. He's one of those guys that's going to put on the table, and we are going to be in here speaking as men as it should be.
Here's Middleton. Here's Antetokounmpo. Good, and Bledsoe gets the assist. Antetokounmpo's got 6 points in the quarter.
Boy, I tell you, he has been lights out. Sadly, they're still behind. He needs his guys to step up.
Irving from long range. And again, Boston with the triple.
3 triples for him this quarter, 4 overall.
Bucks trail by 20. Antetokounmpo kicks to Parker. There's the pick. Here's Irving. Gets that one to fall. That's his 6th field goal. He has shot the ball 12 times.
It just seems like the more he touches it, the more the lead grows.
And KG, I have to say, a pleasure to have you with us here tonight, providing your great insight and intellect into these broadcasts. Thanks so much for being with us on the show, and I hope you come by again.
Man, K-Hall, anytime you need me, man, you let me know, man. I'm yours, man. You know what it is.
The great, the champion, Kevin Garnett. Always fun to have Kevin Garnett on the set, Clark. You can tell he was in high spirits as usual. Have to respect his continued zeal for the game.
Yeah, he's never lacked for passion or zeal. It's been part of what's made him such a great player, a Hall of Famer in the future, and I don't think that's ever going away. I mean, he's really a kid at heart that played the game that way, which was a pleasure to watch. And, man, it's been really cool seeing him do what he did as an NBA player and actually giving back to some of the younger guys that are coming up in the league now.
And out of bounds as the Bucks gain possession. Bucks ball. And so it's Milwaukee now. They set the pick. Teletovic dishes to Dellavedova. Teletovic setting the pick for Brogdon. Passes it to Teletovic. He feeds it to Dellavedova. And the Bucks miss again. Last game for the Celtics, they pick up the win against Cleveland.
I tell you what, how efficient they were at scoring the basketball, especially for an away game, that was impressive.
Well, I think the key was the determination and grit and toughness they played with. You got to be focused to do that, and they were.
Here's Baines off on the layup.
The defense did not do a good job guarding that one, Kevin. Don't know how he missed that layup.
And so a pretty lopsided game through the first half. We'll see you in a bit.
The 2K Sports Halftime Show.
The first half in the books. This is Ernie Johnson. This is Shaquille O'Neal. This is Ken Smith. What a game it's been for Kyrie Irving. He had 16 points, 2 steals, and 4 assists. Coming off a great performance last game, tonight he looked like he had that same aggressive mindset. Kenny, what's your take on Boston so far?
Well, no one was able to check Kyrie. That was the difference. One of the league's best shot makers, largely because of his handles and body control. He can finish at the rim, drain jumpers off the dribble, and of course, his three-point shot now, absolutely deadly.
And you, big fella, let's get your thoughts on the Bucks.
Well, they were playing like it was Christmas, giving up a lot of turnovers. There's no excuses for the turnover numbers, sloppy ball handling. They look out of control, and the execution was all over the place.
And we're just about ready for the start of the third quarter. Kevin Harlan standing by. We'll see you.
Welcome back, everyone. There's State Station. That's where you get off the T if you're going to go visit the old State House here in Boston. Well, it's been a one-sided affair so far through the first 2 quarters, but there's plenty of time to mount a comeback. You look at Kyrie Irving in this game, he has, and Clark, some great players who can score no matter the situation. With that in mind, who do you think are some of the best finishers right now in a congested lane and a lot of traffic?
Well, there's only one guy on this list for me. I've never seen anybody do the contorting and the finishing from multiple angles against all size of defender that Kyrie Irving does. He is head and shoulders above any other finisher in the league, in my opinion. Nobody has done it like that guy does.
On the court for the Bucks, Giannis and Parker, the explosive forward pair. Chris Middleton is out there at Bledsoe, and it's Henson in at the center filling out the middle. Henson with the screen. Antetokounmpo kicks to Henson. Poke loose. Shot clock at 6. Milwaukee needs to get off a shot here. Middleton can't get it to go. They are enjoying the commanding lead.
And it really gives them the opportunity to give their starters a rest. Always critical when you get ready for that home stretch.
On its way from Irving for 2. That one's not going to go. Excellent D there from Bledsoe. Here's Middleton. That drops, and it comes off an assist from Parker.
Middleton is simply a very versatile and dangerous offensive player. He's clever at using the pull-up jumper in the right spots to balance out his shot-making repertoire.
Morris, no good.
Tell you what, shooting 20% to start the second half doesn't bode well for how this will play out for this squad.
Here's Henson. Al Horford with the rebound. For Boston, they've gone only 1 of 5 from the field since halftime. Very slow start offensively. Morris with the bucket.
And they're forcing the ball inside, and it's working like a charm.
Timeout called the Bucks.
When you look at this Celtics roster, a bevy of long, athletic wing players. They seem to be taking a cue from teams like the Warriors, who have found success with defensive switching and positionless basketball.
Here's Irving, and he lays it straight in. Irving's got 4 points this quarter.
They are just killing them on the interior.
Yeah, you can't say that with enough emphasis. I mean, the defenders are just not being aggressive enough down low. You got to play with some physicality in the paint.
Antetokounmpo passes to Bledsoe. And the slam dunk by Antetokounmpo.
Man, this kid is a remarkable athlete who knows how to put the ball in the basket. His offensive attack is really lethal. He's a special talent. Giannis Antetokounmpo
connects from three-point range.
And the Celtics, as you see, are stockpiling wing forwards. Brown, Tatum, Hayward, and we're seeing those guys lining up at the 2, 3, and 4. It gives Brad Stevens tremendous roster versatility.
Irving dishes to Tatum. Horford with the screen on Antetokounmpo, and a wide open look for Irving. And again, Boston with the triple.
Really in a good position thanks to the accuracy from beyond.
Yeah, you got that right. I mean, you got it real right. They are lighting it up from beyond the arc this half.
And they're moving it up. And it goes out of bounds. Last touch by Antetokounmpo. Take a second here to take a look at the shot chart for the Celtics.
This is the shot chart of a dominant performance. I mean, he's taking a lot of shots because right now he believes that every shot he does take is going in. And who can blame him with the way he's played? Simply outstanding work coming from him.
Looking at who's out there now for the Bucks. Tyler Zeller's checked in for John Henson. And Malcolm Brogdon subbed in for Chris Middleton. Mirza Teletovic is checked in for the Bucks. And it's Jason Tatum with the foul. That's foul number 2 for him. Irving against Bledsoe, and stolen by Irving.
And 5 turnovers here. He set his team back on the offensive end. And it's been about that execution offensively. I mean, they have been superb.
Yeah, and you know, the ball moves faster than anybody's can, so that great ball movement and decision-making, they're making all the right moves, Greg.
Teletovic the screen, and it's Antetokounmpo, top of the key. To end the run. And that one is off. And the Celtics going the other way now. And at 6'4", 220, Marcus Smart with terrific strength for a combo guard, Greg.
Yeah, I mean, he can just flat out bully most guards and even hold his own against the bigs. Beyond, though, that physical stature, it's his mentality that makes him special. He's a fire breather, just the type of player the Celtics look for.
Boston making some changes. Monroe's checked in for Horford. Jaylen Brown comes in for Smart. And it's Rozier in for Kyrie Irving. The Bucks also changing it up. Tony Snell's checked in for Antetokounmpo. And it's Matthew Dellavedova in for Eric Bledsoe. And that's out of bounds. Milwaukee will retain possession. The Celtics making a switch here. Aaron Baines. 1:53 left here in the third quarter. Just 5 on the clock. Teletovic the screen. And there's the foul. It's on Jaylen Brown. That's his 3rd foul of the game. There's 1:47 left to play here in the 3rd. Teletovic with it. Quiet so far offensively, searching for his first points of the game.
All you have to do is point to their turnovers this quarter. There's a reason the scoreboard looks like it does.
That's been the culprit, the turnovers. I mean, TOs, those kinds of mistakes have really kind of drained their confidence to this point.
The Bucks have gone 2 of 6 from the field here in the third. That's a 2 from Dellavedova, and that one goes long.
They're really frustrating right now. They just can't seem to stem the tide here.
Yeah, you know, it's one of those days. Sometimes you're the windshield, sometimes you're the bug. Sometimes it's just not working for you.
Nice ball movement by Boston. Fires the 3. Knocks it loose. The pass to Ojale. To the middle. Goes back up. And the layup good by Brown. Brown's got his second bucket of the night.
And this has been a great job of just getting into the middle of that defense and really scoring effectively from the paint.
And it's out of bounds. The Bucks able to retain possession here. Morris is checked in for Ojale.
Marcus Morris.
Here's Dellavedova.
Celtics foul.
He'll take his third and fourth free throw shots of the game right here.
Yeah, and he wasn't someone you wanted to foul if you were defending him last season. 85% is what he made from the line.
You know, he really did excel at the stripe. I mean, they couldn't have asked for too much more from him when it came to knocking down free throws.
Here's Rozier, defended by Dellavedova, and it's Rozier missing.
That's one he knows he should have drained.
It's Brown with the drive, and he was fouled on the way up. 2 free throws now for him.
The way Brown sprints towards the rim makes the defense uncomfortable. I mean, he's really adept at drawing contact on his way to the hoop.
And the second free throw, good. There's 18 seconds left in the third. Now here is Dellavedova. D right on him. Picked by Zeller. The shot by Brogdon wide open. And the Bucks miss again. It could go. That shot no good. The 3 quarters of play all in the books. And this one all but over already. Boston on top, just dominating this one. We're going to step aside for just a second, but join us right back here for the start of the fourth quarter. Next. And thanks again for joining us. Let's see what happens here in the fourth. The Bucks shooting only 32% from the field. Plenty of signs of struggle by this offense today. We've got Monroe. Aaron Baines out there with Morris. And it's Rozier in at the point. That's who's in the game for the Celtics. Ball stolen. Here's Morris. Basket is good, and he'll get a chance for one more at the free throw line. All right, well, look at how the hustle game has been going for the Celtics.
Defensively, they've played with a lot of energy, and the steals we've seen are a result of that aggressiveness.
They've repeatedly gotten out on the break tonight as well and scored a lot of baskets in transition.
Kicks to Dellavedova. Second shot opportunity. Good as the jump shot falls.
Like seeing Dellavedova rise up from the mid-range. That's right about his sweet spot, showing confidence shooting from there.
Clark, as an analyst, do you feel you view the game drastically different from when you were in your playing days in college and the NBA?
Yeah, you know what, Kevin, I really do, because I've benefited from the different coaches we've had a chance to visit with over the years, and that's added to my perspective. And you tend to look at things differently when you're playing. I was always a student of the game, but clearly I think I've become a lot more analytical as an analyst, if that makes any sense.
Yes.
And I love how his teammates have stepped up for him. He's struggling, but they're ramping it up and getting it done this quarter.
For Boston, they've gone 3 of 5 here in the fourth quarter. Pretty good numbers coming out of the break. Nader, the top of the key jumper is on the mark.
Oh, that's some fancy ball handling right there. Since when does he take guys off the dribble?
They need a good offensive possession.
Yeah, they've gone a long time without a bucket.
Milwaukee, no good that time either.
Nothing dropping for him, so I think in the best interest of his team, he may need to think about not shooting right now.
I love his shot selection today. He set the bar for the rest of the team.
Dellavedova kicks to Snell. And out of bounds as the Celtics gain possession.
Celtics ball.
The Celtics making a switch here.
Daniel Tice. Marcus Smart.
For Boston, they've gone 5 of 7 from the field since the beginning of the fourth. Strong work at that end of the floor. And the basket by Rozier.
And defensively, you have got to extend to their shooters. They have been on fire this half.
Well, you know, the D just hasn't been there for real. I mean, these shooters are getting any perimeter.
Just increasing their advantage. And right now, they're in a zone on both ends.
Yeah, you know, it's got to be terribly deflating for the opposition. Boy, they look helpless. Really getting beat up, physically and emotionally.
Yes, that goes in.
Haven't we seen that a few times today, guys? I mean, their defense has got to have a little bit more toughness about it.
And if it doesn't, this is only going to get uglier. I mean, that's no way to defend a player of his caliber.
Such a wide open look.
And that pattern continues, guys. Another heat check, another log on the fire.
Well, they're scorching right now. I mean, the defense has to be concerned. Nothing they're doing is stopping this run.
And a fast break now for the Celtics. Here's Nader. Finished off the break.
Ripping and running. They have a big advantage now in those transition opportunities.
No expiration date on their legs. They just seem to be fresher. And they're putting those fresh legs to good use.
And the official signaled the backcourt violation. Not very careful there.
And continuing to cough it up here. The TOs threatening to cost these guys the game.
Yeah, you want to get a shot every time down. Even if it's a tough shot, any shot is better than no shot. You just don't want to turn it over.
The Celtics making a switch here. Ojale is checked in. The Bucks also changing it up. Zeller comes in for Thon Maker. And Mirza Teletovic subbed in for Wilson.
Having a lot of trouble stopping the three-point shot.
And they're not making up for it with their own shots from deep either, so that's a double-edged sword there.
Here's Dellavedova, and he uses the glass on the layup. Dellavedova's got 4 points now in the quarter.
I'll tell you what, it was surprisingly deceptive, the speed of the Aussie there. Dellavedova relentlessly getting to the rim.
Pass to Ojale. He dishes it to Smart. Nice ball movement by Boston. Here's Rozier. And that one comes up a bit short.
Yeah, that's just poor decision-making. He's got to be better in those situations.
Greg, I just think he was in a hurry. He flat out rushed it. I mean, I don't know what he was thinking there. He actually was in a brain-neutral position. And, you know, last season the Bucks showing their resilience as a team quite nicely. Looked to be falling out of the picture in early February, but then came on strong to snag a playoff spot in the East.
And that one falls for Smart. You know, the Bucks really did look dead in the water for a bit before the All-Star break. They lost Jabari Parker and being 8 games under 500. But boy, the month of March, 14-4, they really rallied.
Yeah, they found themselves in a big way. And despite losing Parker, they got some players back at the same time. And it wasn't a big change in the team. They just bared down against the challenge and adversity. A lot of close wins, and the team really started to gain confidence by virtue of winning those close games.
Tice makes it off the glass.
And some guys just have a nose for scoring, and this one couldn't have been any easier.
Yeah, that was actually no defense at all there, Greg. I mean, layups don't come any easier than that. I mean, they're piling it on now.
They get a hand on it. Stolen by Smart.
Well, guys, this was never really a contest. Just a total obliteration, if you will. And you can safely say mission accomplished now for Boston.
As one-sided as it gets today, you know, there were some dominant moments in about every facet of this game for that team.
Yeah, I mean, Kevin, it's hard to think of what didn't go right for them. Game planning by the coaches, execution by the players, everything was just on target.
And so with this, they'll end up with their second win on the year.
They can chalk this one up, but these two teams will see plenty more of one another before the season's over.
And, Greg, we know familiarity breeds contempt. I would expect things to become more heated as these teams face each other going forward.
The one player that really stands out, of course, in this one, it was a dazzling game for Kyrie Irving.
Boy, it was nice seeing him do his thing on offense, wasn't it? Turned it up a notch and flat out pulverized the defense.
Now here is Dellavedova. He's covered closely. Monroe on the double team. Poked loose. Shot and game clock separated by 5. The shot from the low post is good.
And that's a killer instinct on display as they try to put this one on ice.
And, you know, this is what's needed at this point in the game, Greg. The great teams know how to close it out.
Dellavedova laid in with a nice touch off the glass.
This is not the team we've been watching for most of the night.
Well, hopefully they can ride this momentum into the next game because this one is done. Over. Fine.
And it's Rozier missing.
Yeah, and he had the D tangled up there with that patented crossover. Just couldn't convert the finish.
And so it's Boston easily grabbing this one. They poured it on tonight. Dominant showing in front of a crowd that loved every minute of it.
And, you know, this game could really be a defining one for what they can do when they are playing at their best. I mean, being here at home no doubt helps, and the execution was flawless.
And a chance now to send it over to David Aldridge, standing by courtside. David.
Thanks very much, Kyrie. Nice win tonight. What was your thought process coming into the game?
You know, I was just going out there trying to compete on every play, trying to play as much defense as possible. You know, just sticking to our game plan. We had a game plan going in and we executed.
Got it done at both ends of the floor, Kyrie. Thanks very much. Back to you, Kevin.
All right, David, thank you. And that's going to do it tonight, folks, for our broadcast. For Greg Anthony, Clark Kellogg, and David Aldridge, this is Kevin Harlan. Thanks for watching this presentation of the NBA on 2K Sports. So long, everyone.